Hello and welcome to the Indie Creator Podcast. Today we're here on the
Hello.
introductory episode, and I'm joined by Jordan, Rock,
Hello.
Pixel, and
Hello.
myself, Ross.
Hello.
So let's go around the table and everybody say who we are. I'm Ross. I am learning Unity and working on Slime Adventure, and my cohort Rock is here as well and is working on our other game. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Rock. I usually use Unity and Profanity, and that's really how I get around with life and video games.
Jordan.
Hello, I'm Jordan. I'm working on games and music, and I use GameMaker, which is a real engine, and yeah.
Pixel.
So, hello, I'm Pixel. I make games and engines in JavaScript and C++. Sometimes I use Unity, and yeah, I mostly make simple 2D games.
All right.
Awesome.
So let's go around the table once more and say about what we're working on. We're going to start with you, Pixel.
Yeah, I'm working on a JS and a C++ game engine. Pretty simple. I'm also making a top-down RPG action game thing,
And what's it called?
but it's... I don't know yet. I'm undecided. But yeah, it's very early in development, so there's not much to say.
Very cool. How about you, Jordan? What are you working on?
I'm working on a stacking game, sort of similar to Feed the King, if you've ever played it, and it's going to be an app. And I'm also kind of working on a game called Midway, but that's going to happen one day.
And you, Rock.
I'm working on a dark top-down roguelike called Cleric with Lovecraftian elements, and I'm also working on a project with you, obviously,
Yep.
which is an RPG project with way too much data.
Yes. And I am working on a 2D platform runner called Slime Adventure, which is actually about ready to be put into the alpha test on the website, which will be linked
Hey, is
everywhere.
that the runner?
Yeah, everyone's games will be linked in the description when they come out.
Yay.
When
Okay.
the games come out, or when the developers come out?
It just depends. Whatever you're into, man. I personally, my dad will, beat me if I say anything, so I gotta kind of keep it on the down low. Okay. So, our first topic is State of Steam. What do you guys think about the State of Steam right now?
It's fucked.
Well, originally I think it was in a bit of a state with the changes they made to Greenlight, which was now probably about a year ago.
Well,
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it actually being a good change to Steam, because now
Yeah.
there is a lot
It's
more
just
anime
100%
waifu
you're in.
games. Yeah, there's a lot more trash on Steam now. However,
Yeah.
I think if the users started to curate a little bit more and use the curation tools that they've given us, because I see a lot of people complaining but no one actually using the tools that they gave us to use this new system. So,
Well, what tools
do
did
we
they give
really
us,
have-
right? You pay $100 to get on the platform. What else is there to really mediate what there is? Because you pay $100 and you're on.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's really about mediation that they're looking at. I think they're looking at just having gross amounts of content, but giving the users a way to filter that content by using
they're
curation
basically turning
groups.
to Play Store. They're turning to
Yeah.
Play Store.
Yeah, basically, they're like, here's a bunch of shit, you guys can filter it.
And the Play Store does not have a good reputation.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think they still need some kind of human
Yeah, I mean-
verification before you get on the platform.
Like, if it's
I
just a
think
blatant
Steam definitely
asset
have
flip
enough.
or a
So many
hentai
hentai
game, they
did
just purged a
lot
shitload of
games,
hentai,
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's still a
Also, they
lot
let
of
Jordan's
crap on the
games
platform.
in there, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And CCG, which was a nightmare. So the next topic is game jams. Where's the best
Game
place to
jams
find
are
game
awesome.
jams?
HIO, in my opinion. There's so many jams on HIO, and you can just...
Yep, I agree with that.
At the weekend especially, it's so many jams. In some, there are not a lot of people participating, but, like, there's mostly, like, one big jam every month, and it's just... Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I know a lot of game
I-
development communities host their own jams as well, like when we're in Core
Yeah,
GDN. But they're pretty rare, far in between, so
Yeah.
HIO is probably the best source.
Well, usually they're more frequent, but at the moment, like, the admin is going through a lot of shit, so...
Yeah.
I think GDN's doing one in December, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll plug that.
But
We'll plug
they
everything.
like used to do one every month, and
Yeah.
now it's kind
And
of
Pixel and I are in a jam right now too, called the Mini Jam.
yeah, it's.
I was thinking of joining that, but I don't have a time right now.
Same, yeah.
I actually don't have the time either, so
Oh, nice.
Yeah. None of us really do.
hey.
So yeah, so game dev communities. Do you guys prefer like a game dev community that is like all inclusive or like engine specific?
I think all inclusive.
Yeah, all
Some
inclusive
more interesting
because
stuff.
you definitely need a group of people to escape on. So, like having
Yeah.
the game maker guys in the community. Of course, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Classic.
But yeah, I think all inclusive is good. I don't even really go on GDN for game dev anymore. I just
Yeah, me neither. It's just a nice
Right.
community. But
I know-
Which leads us on to the fact that there are not any really real developers on GDN or game dev
Or in
communities.
very many
There are
game
mainly
dev
Well, in
communities.
kids.
most game dev communities, no, not a lot
Yeah,
of
there's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
mostly
professional people.
it's mostly
Because
15
professional
to
people
16.
don't have time to be in some stupid community. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mostly 15 to 16-year-olds that have.
nah, that's not true.
Well, you'd be
It
surprised.
gets younger than that.
Yeah, like younger than that, sure, I can believe that, but definitely
Yeah.
not very many older than that.
It's mostly just indies and hobbyists,
Yeah.
and a lot of young
Yeah.
hobbyists.
And a lot of people who are just
And that
wanting to
makes
learn.
it quite difficult to get help there because, yeah.
Not a lot of people
Even
know what's
then, though,
going on.
there's still not a lot of indies because in order to be classed, as an indie, you need to be developing and releasing things. And there's a lot of people saying that they're making stuff, but they never actually do. Which I think brings us on to like
Yeah.
I think some communities need to like almost vet their
People?
communities. I mean, because there's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, I said really stupid shit, saying I was going to make like an RPG and stuff like that. But there is always that kid who's like, I've been working on a game for 2 years, when in fact they've just been drawing little pictures for 2 years. They've never actually taken
Yeah.
any time to look at software architecture or how they're going to make this thing work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Probably
though,
more
if you
vetting
start-
that needs to happen.
if you start like not allowing in people who haven't released a game, then it's not really a helpful community for people who want to learn.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think it's
that's-
about
therein lies the
releasing a
problem.
game, but what if it's a screenshot, like actual screenshots of work? But then again, that's really hard to vet as well.
Yeah, but then you've actually had to put effort into something, haven't you? So like,
Yeah.
until it becomes like someone just sat there going, "I'm gonna make a game," and then 5 minutes later they're like, "I'm not making a game," and they're still there, and you're like,
I'm making another one. I got a new idea, Start over again.
I think that's a problem though that reaches everyone because until
Yeah.
you learn.
Well,
to
how
be
do game
strict
dev
with
communities
yourself-
mediate that?
Yeah.
That's not a game dev community problem, I don't think. I think that's more a developer problem because as a
Yeah.
whole, like we're all really bad at getting new ideas and things like
Right, and not
Yeah.
finishing
I mean,
projects.
look at
Much too
Jordan.
good.
Yeah, look at Jordan. And look at all of us, really. Like, how do we like go through like our project without, changing like an idea? Like, things change, and
that. Trello.
yeah,
I think
true.
that's the importance of like really aiming small with early projects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because a lot, like I have so many friends who say, like, oh, I'm working on this massive open world thing that's gonna be like Rust, and like,
Yeah,
I just
and
know
your
it's never
choices are
gonna
gonna
get
have
done.
consequences.
right.
Yeah, like it's just never gonna get done.
Yeah.
But also, I think there's also a level of there's no real thing online to say this is how you're meant to plan your game.
Yeah,
there is
like-
no this is how. Like a lot of people swear by the MVP rule, and myself included. I like the MVP rule, but a lot of people it doesn't work for. So
What's the MVP rule?
Minimum
the MVP
viable
rule
product.
is. Yeah, so you get all the mechanics in your game, and you say which of these make the game like at minimum a game.
Yeah.
And then you work
Oh,
towards that, and once you've got that, then you can work off of that framework for the rest of the game. For me, that works really well, but for other people, they dislike it because they feel like it's strangling in development.
I like
Yeah,
the
it's
MVP
like-
product though, because then you have a goal to work towards, and once you get it, then you can go forward from there with an actual product that you have, and not just an idea anymore.
It's
Yeah,
also quite archaic though because it's been around since video games came into the mainstream.
Oh god, snakes. But yeah, you're right. Like, and that's like for anything, any like app or any like business plan. MVP is like all over the world right now, just not even in games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what you
You
do. You
should
get your
just-
MVP, and then you go and look
I
for
think-
investors.
Because
For
before an
indies,
MVP,
it's
you don't have
also-
anything to show for it yourself without an MVP. To be honest.
As an indie, you should also focus on not a lot of mechanics. You should make things too complex. Because complexity always drives people away from your game.
Yeah, single
Yeah.
mechanic design has been a
And
thing for a little while now.
It's amazing. Have you played Downwell?
I haven't, no.
No, I haven't either.
It's like
I believe that's made in Game Maker.
yes it is.
Actually, just to make a point about Game Maker, I absolutely love Gunpoint and that other game that he made.
Yep.
like they're probably the reasons that GameMaker should be looked upon as a real engine. But then you look at everything else.
Yeah.
Well, no, the only reason
But
GameMaker is the same reason as Unity is looked on badly, because the barrier of entry is low.
Yeah, it's accessibility brings low quality, but it also brings large quantity.
Yeah, and that also
Before
tunnels
you-
back
before
into
you
Steam
play.
though. Like what Rock said, that tunnels back into Steam. You know, like it's easy to do, so it brings in a lot of crappy stuff. But there's also diamonds in the
Yeah.
rough. That works with Steam Direct as well. It's just we have to put up with the crappy products, you know, until we find a diamond in the rough. And if you are a diamond in the rough, how do you get found? You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely hard.
I think the barrier of entry being low is a very good thing, because even though like it brings low quality games, like
It gives everybody a
game
shot.
maker's drag and drop is what got me into game making. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't have got into game dev without drag and drop.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that was like the first 3 years of my game dev was just messing around with game maker's drag and drop. I wouldn't have just gone straight into code.
I think like when I started trying to make games, like the first thing I thought of was like code. I need to figure that out, and then I figured that out, and I was like, this is terrifying. Because like as soon as you start coding, you're doing normal like inline, just big run scripts,
Yeah.
and then you start learning about code architecture, and you're like, this is a lot.
It's a lot to like prioritize too, like especially with minimum viable product. It's a lot to like get done. I think that's what scares a lot of people off.
That's a point to talk about. Is like this whole like there is a sense of elitism in the indie community where it's like make your own engine, and then everyone else going
Yeah.
no. Make your own
If you
engine
make
if you
your
want to
own
know
engine,
how
you're
that
basically
works.
never gonna
Don't
use
make
it.
your own engine if you think you're superior to other people, because you're not.
All right, that concludes our first episode. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy.